Hello and welcome to the Collectoverse podcast, your home for all things Collectoverse. We are a small indie toy store in Prince George, British Columbia, Canada. My name is Matt Walker and I will be your host. I will oftentimes be joined by my partner Berlin McPherson as a co-host, and other times we will have a special guest join us. Maybe both. Who knows what we'll get up to. We'll be using our time to talk mostly about toys, pop culture, and the many fandoms that we all love. We have many terrific show ideas to try, and if you keep with us, you may be surprised at what you hear. Alright, so as you may have heard in the intro, this is the Collectoverse podcast. My name is Matthew Walker, and I am joined by my lovely co-host, Berlin McPherson.
Hello, hello.
This is our first official episode. We have done two sort of quasi-shows before this.
That's right. We had episode 0, where we kind of talked about what to expect with the podcast.
That's right. And then we did one the other night just for Patreon, extra content for them, which was about the claim sale that we were hosting.
Yeah, we just kind of decided to hit record while posting and putting on that claim sale. Saw what content came out of it, and I guess we'll see if people want more.
Yeah, whether that makes a good show or not. But everybody who heard it seemed to be pretty into it.
Yeah, so we'll see how that goes and either make more of that style or not.
Yes. All right, so this episode, we are going to talk about why we opened a store and why anybody else would possibly open a store in the 2020s. So, much like many other people during the pandemic, you can't travel, you can't go do anything, but you can order toys online. You can, I guess in BC anyway, go to a Walmart and buy toys. You couldn't in Ontario or
that's right.
Quebec, right? They had them cut off.
Yeah.
Essentials only.
That's right.
But you couldn't really go spend all of your money on stuff. And the government was printing a bunch of money, so there's a lot of extra money around.
That's right.
As such, we started collecting.
You started collecting first.
Oh, yeah, I guess I did. Okay, that guilty as charged. I bought a Transformer at EB Games, and I said, oh boy, this is really great.
I remember this.
And I just kept buying them.
You did.
And I kept buying them, and I found a few in town, and I went to one of the other local store competition here, and I was not impressed by the prices or selection.
Yep.
So I went online, and I started ordering from a few stores in Ontario, a couple guys in Quebec, and then another store in Calgary area. And most of the experiences were very positive.
Yes.
But there was one in particular that was not positive at all. And it was a pre-order. I don't know. I can't remember what I ordered exactly now. But I ordered the entire wave or like 3 waves of stuff between 3 or 4 different stores. Just to kind of test. And I'm going to name drop the positive stores, and I'm going to probably leave out the negative stores. But anybody who knows this business or those stores knows exactly who I'm talking about. I ordered some stuff from DJC Collectibles out of Ottawa.
Yep.
That's
we love you,
Derek,
DJC.
who's awesome. And we got, I got all my stuff. Price was right. Exact shipping.
Communication was great.
Communication was good. I ordered from GB Collections, who had a couple other pieces.
Are they out east as well?
Yeah, he's in, I can't remember. I found him on eBay.
Oh, yeah.
I think in Quebec. And then
TF Toys?
TF Toys out of Airdrie, Alberta, who also, they were excellent. And we're going to name them?
Name them. Everybody knows.
Yeah. So, NMC Toys out of Toronto, who were...
Great selection.
Awful to deal with. So I ordered some toys, and every other one had come from everybody else. Walmart had the toys that I had ordered. I went and bought them. I sent him a message, hey, I've got these things, can I cancel the order? And first, just kind of ignored it, didn't really pay any attention, didn't seem like, like me as a customer mattered to them.
Yes.
So I finally get a hold of the guy. He sends me a big excuse about whatever. I said, okay, fine. I'll wait a little bit longer. And then 3 months rolls by, keeps on going. Nothing's there. I asked for a refund. And very begrudgingly, the guy gave me a refund, charged me all the possible restocking fees. Do we have a store by the time I got my refund back?
I think so. We had... Did we?
Possibly.
I don't know if we had the store, but we at least had the website.
The website, yeah. So anyway, that experience was really, really bad.
Just to clarify, the experience wasn't terrible just because Walmart got the toy first. Because that happens, especially during the pandemic. Shipping was whack.
Yeah, that's fine.
But the way he dealt with it and the way that he spoke to you as a customer, I believe around this same time he was posting on Facebook telling people to like stop emailing.
Yes.
He was like,
true.
I'll get to you. If you leave another email, you're making it worse, basically. And he told us that he had somebody in charge of emails and just like totally passed the buck and took no responsibility for what was happening.
Yeah, pass the blame on that one. Between those things, like the excellent service from some stores and the terrible service from that store, there was another one I had a bad experience with, but that one doesn't matter. Previous to this, I spent almost the last 8 years working retail, doing the best job that I possibly could, sending emails, making calls, following up. It's not hard.
Building customer relationships.
Yeah, it's so not a hard thing. Sure, you drop the ball once in a while on an email and you get a complaint. Somebody goes, hey man,
you totally left me hanging. Yeah.
Yeah, it happens. But yeah, blaming others and stuff like that is just awful. Yeah. And so yeah, that was a big inspiration to do better.
The big 3-paragraph email we received that said he didn't want us as a customer anyway and not to reply.
He said you don't bother replying, I've already blocked you.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just very childish. So it's something, I would never ever do as a store owner, as a retail clerk. Like, you just can't. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, literally any sort of customer service situation.
Yeah.
Whether you're the business owner or not. Like, that's just not how you talk to people.
Our business is built on that. Reasonable prices, because we're going to, we'll get to this as well.
Yeah.
Some other stores in town do not have reasonable prices.
No.
There are manufacturer price suggestions.
Yeah. Suggested retail price.
Yeah. And like, you don't have to, if you own a store, you bought the stock, you've paid, Hasbro or Mattel for their stock. They don't care what you do with it, as long as you don't sully their name. They don't want to see it on clearance because it cheapens their brand, but they don't really care about charging more for it.
It's not illegal.
Yeah.
But it's yucky.
It is yucky. I just mean there's a line. Like, if you pay $28 for, a figure, it is expected that you're going to make a 20 to 30% markup on that figure.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Yeah.
But to try and get a double margin out of it and make your cost plus another cost is ridiculous.
Yes.
And there are stores that do it. There's stores locally that do it.
Yeah.
Which was another inspiration for us to have.
You don't need to make the same profit on every item that the manufacturer is making.
Yeah. And that's the thing. There are
some items that you can.
Yeah, there are items that you can.
And that they fully expect you to.
Yeah.
Like, the manufacturers expect that that's what it's going to be sold for.
That's right.
And we do have some products that are like that, and we charge the same thing that the supplier or manufacturer charges. We have some plush, for example.
Yeah, those are a good example of double margin item.
Yeah, because they sell them for what they sell them for. We charge exactly the same they have them on their website for.
That's right.
That's the markup. That's how it is.
Yeah, and Transformers are not that.
Transformers are not that.
G.I. Joe is not that.
Nope.
He-Man is not that.
Nope.
Those are things where you can, you buy a case of 8 and you sell them all and you make, I don't know, $60.
Yeah.
It's not a huge markup. It's not a huge margin.
Yeah.
But if everybody's coming to you for those things, you do okay.
That's right.
Yeah, so that's the background of what the initial inspiration was to even think about starting a website.
Our trifecta, the triangle of why we opened.
Yes.
Walmart, great prices, terrible selection.
Yes, never have stock.
Never had what you were looking for. If they got it in, they got one and it's gone. Hard to find.
Mm-hmm.
Local, a bit of a more varied selection. Not really, but sometimes. Mm-hmm. Way, way, way overpriced.
Yes.
And then we're going online, and you're at the mercy of how some dude in Ottawa is feeling that day.
That's right.
And between those 3 things, we figured, like, we can do it better.
Yeah, or just we can do it.
At least we can
do it on a small scale that can at least treat others well.
We wanted to bring the local collector community affordable, variety, good customer service.
Yeah.
Which you would think would be everyone's base line, but it's not.
Yeah, that's true.
Like, are we the only people who opened a store not just to make money?
I don't know.
Like, we need to make money to keep it open.
Yeah, it's good.
And
when you
people
make
want
money.
us to order the cool stuff. We need the money to order the cool stuff. But, like, it wasn't to pack our wallets full of money.
No, not at all.
That wasn't the motivation.
Yeah, so from there, okay, so we decided to do this. We created a website,
Like the next day?
That was my idea first, right?
Yeah.
Because we were driving. I think we
were on our way home from Quesnel.
Yeah, we were on our way home from Quesnel because we were checking out the Walmart there, because that's the option in 2021 was you go to the big indie toy store or you go to Walmart.
Yeah.
For me to get Transformers. That was it. So luckily we have a second Walmart, an hour away. That's cool. So we'd go there and check, and there's not as many collectors there or something.
I think it's just a smaller town.
Yeah.
The Walmart gets the same stock, but there's just less population buying them.
Yeah, they would have the stock there. I'd get, between the two, I could get the full wave of guys. And I guess EB Games had them too.
GameStop.
It's GameStop now, but it was EB at the time.
That's right.
I'll get there. In the future,
We lost an EB Games during the pandemic too. We had two.
Oh, yeah, we had two. It was good. Yeah, we'd be back and forth between those stores all the time.
Yeah.
But between those three stores, I started collecting and couldn't get it here, so we decided that we would open a store. And some people really pumped about it, some people not so much, some of those guys in the stores. So we started with that. The idea was to do the website first in the case that neither of us are businessmen.
No.
I have done, I've been a contractor for years, can write invoices, I can charge people money for my work, but I've never ever been the guy whose name's on the contracts.
Yeah, I've done retail stuff, but the last, 5-6 years of my life, I was working in an office with, 3 other people. Very, very minimal customer interactions. Prior to that, doing other customer service jobs, I never really liked it. So
Yeah,
it wasn't something I dreamed of doing as a profession, but
That's because standard retail sucks.
that's right.
Owning your own business, you take all the risk, which is a drag. But at the same time, when some guy comes in and he's being a real dink, man, can you tell him off?
That's true.
You don't have to, but having the option.
I don't know if this is normal or not, but I find it a lot easier to be nice and patient and understanding with customers, knowing that if it comes down to it, I can put my foot down and I don't need to get manager approval to deal with the thing. If it comes down to it, I can do what I want and I can get that situation dealt with. And it makes it easier to not get stressed out in an interaction, if that makes sense.
Makes sense to me. Okay, so we started doing
Website first,
and we lined up our supply chain, and we did it like a lot of independent stores do. We found one supplier who had everything out of the States, and they're a very big supplier, and everybody deals with them, among other suppliers that we had. We did try and line up all the Canadian suppliers we could, and we lined up a few different ones that between the 3 of them would have everything. But there was one big one that's like a cards dealer who just didn't get back to us. They needed too much information. They needed this and that. They needed GST number, all these things, which we didn't have yet.
Yeah, because we were brand new.
Yeah.
So, we'd made $1,000.
Yeah.
You don't need a GST number when
That's
you've made $1,000.
Yeah, so we were waiting on that. And so we just went with these other guys out of the States. And, you start out and they give you hey, here's your amount you can order, $15,000 or whatever it is. You can order this stuff, pre-orders. Because with this business, the main thing is first to market. It's the biggest thing you can have.
Yeah.
So everybody's pre-orders, and you can go in and, order, this whole wave of this thing, and hopefully you get it in a timely fashion to meet those orders. Because if you don't, then your customers are going to say, well, I'm already seeing these things over at Walmart, and I'm seeing other people getting them from these stores. Can I cancel my order and go with those stores? Well, first thing, that store's probably out of stock because they already made all their pre-orders and people only order so many cases of things. It's a bad situation for the store who originally ordered the stuff. It sucks. But in dealing with those guys, you have all this stuff at your fingertips to order, but the shipping sucks.
Shipping sucks.
Yeah. When we first started with them, the shipping was bad, but
it got much worse.
It got much worse throughout the pandemic. Everything was late. Nothing showed up when it should. Meanwhile, the Canadian supplier would have stock, but it'd be older stock, and the shipping was good. So we'd be ordering between the two while we hadn't even thought of having a store. We did do some pop-up.
We got pretty quick into our first pop-up, I think.
Yeah, it was May.
It was a few months, yeah. if
we opened
even.
we opened the store April 2021 online, the website.
Yep.
And then we did our first pop-up at Busker's Diner upstairs in the corner. Yep. It was tiny. We've got photos. When we do a YouTube of this, we'll add the photos. It's so small.
We had like one display case with stuff. We had a table like from the dining room of Busker's.
Yeah.
That had like stuff piled up.
We had 2
pegboard.
Yeah, pegboard.
Yeah.
With stuff on it.
Just leaning against the wall.
Leaning against the wall.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With our Hot Wheels.
Yeah, we had kind of stuff we had purchased from people who used to manage kind of game stores.
Yeah.
And, like kind of loose stuff in bins.
Yep.
It was neat.
At that point, a lot of it was stuff we had collected as well.
Yes.
That was true. Like partially our collections and stuff from like buying lots and stuff. Mm-hmm. One of my favorite things about like our journey, if we're calling it that.
Yes, we're calling it that. It's a journey.
I met a few of our customers that we have like regular customers that come in like every, week or two during that pop-up.
Oh yeah, for sure.
That very first pop-up.
That's right.
And it's really cool we'll probably get more into this later, but like as far as having a physical store, just being able to like grow with people and have customers that are like, they were there when we were this big.
Yeah, they're invested in you.
Yeah, and now we've grown and, they're still there. Yeah. And that's really cool. I love new customers too. I love meeting new people.
Yeah, you have to have new.
Yeah.
It's kind of
That's right.
The deal.
I'm thinking of Quentin and Sarah specifically.
They're excellent. They were there the first time.
That's right. And I think you knew them beforehand.
I did.
But I hadn't. Yeah. I met them there.
Yeah, no, they stopped by and bought some things, supported us, and then let's talk about the second pop-up. It was the same corner.
Yeah.
But we had significantly more stuff.
We did.
So at that point we were having,
and this was another 2 weeks later?
Maybe.
Or like
a month.
Less than a month later.
And we had
probably doubled our stock.
We had doubled the stock, but we had just had tubs full of stuff at home because there's dogs here, so you have to keep everything in in a static-free tub zone so it can't be covered in hair.
That's right.
Because nobody likes opening their package and a bunch of hairs in there.
No, absolutely not.
No, it's gross. Okay, so the website had been growing in popularity. We had gained access to a few more lines, and we had done 2 pop-ups. All throughout the pandemic, we had to have a safety plan in place. We had this very small corner to deal with at Busker's, so you couldn't really have 5 people looking at your stuff. We had to have it set up so you could go in one side and around.
Yeah, so people wouldn't have to pass each other on the way out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it was like, it's like June 2021.
Yeah.
Right in the middle of everything. Yeah. Everything had been shut down.
That's right.
So Busker's, I was running the venue and doing all the bookings and the sound there. And we couldn't operate at all. So, bless Amber. I said to her, hey, we can't use this basement for shows right now. Can I take all the tables and everything and, do a bit of work, do a bit of paint, whatever, and have a store down there? She said yes.
Yep.
So we had our first kind of semi-permanent pop-up.
Yep. We put in some work. We got some supplies. We painted the cement floors up.
Yep.
We painted the walls. We had it got a nice facelift.
It did look pretty nice. Again, we'll post some pictures of that stuff.
Photos will be either in the video or in a blog post. Yeah.
Yeah. So we did that and we set it up and we put up some proper slat wall. We got fixtures and it was kind of a good, I don't know what to say. It was like a really good practice run to see if we even wanted to do it.
That's right.
And we did.
Yep.
Because having that spot, even though it wasn't the most accessible.
No, it was down like 2 flights of stairs. Yeah. So it was not like wheelchair accessible or stroller accessible.
Yeah. People started showing up and buying stuff and hanging out and it was sweet.
It was.
And, we
met many more of our current dedicated friends.
Many more of them.
There.
So during that summer, I was working another job, lots.
Yeah.
Which was great because I could take all that money and funnel it right back into Collectoverse.
That's right.
So we were buying lots of new stock and getting stuff that we hadn't had in and getting stuff that Prince George hadn't seen yet.
Right.
Because I'm going to go just off track here. Remember that we're talking about the store. Okay. There are things that are available to us that even like GameStop or Walmart or whatever can't get. There are things that Walmart and GameStop can get that we can't get. There's exclusives across the board everywhere. So the big thing to try and do is definitely to get first to market, have those things here in Prince George or online first so that everybody gets them from you. I think, currently in stock, this is 22nd of November 2022. Right now we have that I haven't seen anywhere in town yet. Transformer crankcase. I haven't seen Motormaster in stock anywhere. Or they might have had it up the hill, but they didn't have it at Walmart.
No.
They didn't. Nobody's had that Studio Series ratchet or that wheelie yet. These are all things, and we were late getting them.
We were, yeah.
But they still haven't had those things in, which is good for us.
Yes, it is.
They're not selling the most, but still, we've sold like 12 Motormasters. That's great.
Yes. He's a popular guy, that one.
He is. So, where am I going with this? I don't know. I'm just on a tangent. No. There were things we were getting at that time and at this time, which nobody else had, which definitely helped.
Yes.
Because people would be like, oh man, I've been looking for this, forever, and I haven't been able to find it. So, yeah, that was like a good move for us getting, kind of like figuring out which things those were going to be. Because it's a crapshoot.
Yes. It's
literally always a gamble on which thing's going to take off. We bought a case each of the Funko Pop figures for the Matrix, for the latest one, before the movie comes out, because that's when they announce it. We're like, oh, the Matrix, it's going to be huge.
Yep.
It was it's a dud line. I've not seen the movie yet.
No, me neither.
I've heard mixed reviews that it's very good or terrible.
I've heard if you liked the Matrix movies, you'll like it, because it's just another same vibe.
Right.
But I've also heard people wish it never happened. So
exactly.
And we still have those Funko Pops.
Yeah, that's 5 months.
Yep, something like that.
Right. So you never know what you're going to be stuck with. So it's always a gamble. Anyway, that's off on a tangent. Getting back to building the store.
Yes.
We built in the basement. We did the thing. I was working off on my other job, doing stuff, funneling.
I was a student at the time.
Yes, you were in school.
So which was all online. Again, yes. Mid-pandemic. So that's I found myself doing homework and participating in classes in the basement of Busker's Diner, running our little store.
Remember we drove to Kamloops one time and you were in school?
Oh, yeah.
You're on your phone?
Yeah. I just played it through my car Bluetooth.
Yeah, doing your course on data.
Yeah.
On data. It was cool. It was a cool thing. I think that was there was some stuff.
Going forward, there should always be online options.
Yeah, for like students.
The bigger classes, especially.
For sure.
Yeah.
Anything that's hands-on, sure, you maybe want to show up and do a practicum with it, but you should be able to do remote for sure.
Yeah.
But
big fan.
Yeah, big fan. So, we were doing that thing, and then the BC government said, hey, you guys can have, half the people in the room. So we were excited at Buskers to finally get people in a room again. So we put all the tables out, and so this is what we'd be doing. So Friday, Saturday nights, we'd have events down there. Karaoke, etc., bands, whatever. They're only half capacity, but the store
and sitting only,
and no breathing, and no and masks on, except at the table. You remember the rules.
All the stuff.
So we would
accordion the store.
Yeah, we would take it and shove it all in a corner.
It was kind of already in a corner.
It was already in a corner.
But we pushed it all right against the wall.
Yeah, it was stuffed right in. And we didn't do it for that long, like a month, couple months.
There's a few weekends.
Yeah, and when things could get back to full open, we were doing our store down in the basement, which was legally not allowed.
Which we found out.
So Amber was like, "Hey, so the liquor inspector came in, and she says you can't really be here." That was probably September.
Yep.
And we were like, "Okay, well, we're not going to take the liquor license out of this corner,"
which was an option.
Yeah,
we could, and because build liquor licenses, which is something I didn't really realize because I've never worked in like restaurants or bars or anything like that. But I guess it's like you license the space.
That's right.
So the whole basement was licensed because there's shows and whatever down there. There's a little bar in the corner. So the whole basement space was licensed for alcohol. Whether there's a show on or there's alcohol present or not, the license is still the license.
Yeah, having two businesses inside of one licensed area for one business
doesn't work.
So
we could have unlicensed a certain square footage in the corner, but we would have had to build a permanent wall.
Yes.
So it couldn't be something that could expand when needed and deflated when not needed. It would have to be permanent.
And with shows coming back in, our store is in the way anyway.
Yeah. That space was not big enough to accommodate us anyways.
Yeah. So Berlin went to searching.
That inspired a move. I think that time it was like okay, we can't be here.
That's right.
Where we're out, we made an announcement on Facebook. We're pulling, and it became either we move our now much larger stock
Yes.
back to the home basement and go back to online and maybe trying to find somewhere else to do pop-ups,
Yes.
etc. Or do we take the leap and find some actual storefront to rent and really try a store?
Well, I think we all know what we did. The choice that was made.
We closed. We went back home.
We closed and went back home. No, we did not. Did we for a time? No, we moved.
We
right
went
over there.
straight from Buskers to our current store.
And we put it up fast.
We put it up in 3 days.
We got keys for that place October 1st. We had already had everything torn down in the basement. 2 weeks we were closed? Yes, we were closed. Maybe.
Everything was boxed up, piled up against the wall.
Yeah.
Ready to go.
Yeah, and so we rented a truck.
Very small hole in the wall.
Yeah, rented the small hole in the wall store. Went in, put up.
Rented a U-Haul.
Yeah, we put up. Slat wall on one
Paint.
side. Had shelves that my boss from the other job made for me, that he had cut.
One thing I want everyone to know. A few people might know, but our slat wall at the store, the wall behind it is bright ass red.
No one needs to know that.
We put the slat wall up first and painted the gray around the edges. So whoever pulls that slat wall down,
they're in for a treat.
And very nice surprise.
Yeah. So yeah, as time went on, that was October 10th, I think, was our first day.
Yep, 2021.
October 10th, 2021 was the first day open at the store, and we had friends come by. It was very
we had a great
busy,
day.
very good.
Yep.
People came in, and as such, what we had noticed was when you have any brick and mortar type of store location versus a website, you're going to have local draw, and people are going to come and spend money.
Yep.
Which they did. It was great. But I also know people who have websites and no store who make probably way more money.
Oh, yeah.
And never have to talk to anybody.
That's right.
It's very impersonal. You don't have your friends coming by and hanging out. Mm-hmm. You can't on a blustery winter day say, hey, who wants to bring me down a bottle of Bailey's and some coffee? and your friends will.
And they did. We love you guys.
Yes, they always will. So anyway, October, we opened essentially to test Christmas season.
Yeah.
And see how it went.
And it was great.
And it was great.
This Christmas season.
Yeah, so far this year, it's been a little bit tight. It's been a slow decline simply because I'm sure everybody's concerned that, they need to buy food and pay rent. And all the prices have gone up on everything.
And a box of macaroni is $5. Not quite.
What kind of fancy macaroni is that? Is it called Fancy Mac?
No, just craft dinner, my friend.
Yeah, that's a logical thing. And, we're not going to use the big R word because it's not yet.
No.
But when people are fearing that that's coming, they buckle up their belt.
Yep.
And
as we have done as well.
Oh yeah, for sure.
We're buying less for our personal collections. We're downsizing collections rather than.
Well, I don't know about you, but I've been buying all these Masterpiece Transformers and
third-party Masterpiece Transformers.
Well, and knockoff ones. I know they're not $300, but they're still $100.
Yeah, but you're selling your own collection to get them.
Yes, I have.
You're
been,
not.
That's right.
This ain't frivolous spending.
No, that's true. Yeah, so at that point, enter the store. With having a brick and mortar store, I was going to say, we're looking at the, few that won't deal with the website.
That's right.
And we found a few of those that at the time, we tried to apply with them months and months ago. That's kind of the history. That's, where we are.
Yeah.
The pros and cons. What are the pros of having an actual store versus a web store?
I think for us, again, to clarify, we are mostly speaking from our own personal experience. Mm-hmm. We don't have a lot of business owner friends. The ones we have, like the ones I have, I guess I've met since opening the store. So it's not like long-term stuff, but this is our experience. And I've noticed, I guess, with having the storefront, the community, it's got to be the best part, is having the regulars and the people that come in and they're just there to visit. They're like, I work in an hour. I had some time to kill. I wanted to pop by and see you guys. Maybe they pick something up. Maybe they just hang out. Maybe they bring us a coffee.
For sure. Yeah, it's the same when I was at Long McQuaid doing in the music store. It's the exact same thing.
Yeah.
Like anytime you're in a business where nothing you sell matters, like it's not batteries for scooters or
you're not dealing with anybody's
tanks.
Money, kids.
Yeah.
Pets.
like stuff that they need.
Yeah.
Like we sell fun, we sell dreams, we sell nostalgia. We don't sell You know, if you don't have this, you will literally not be able to breathe right.
Yeah.
We don't do that because that is not fun business.
No, we don't want to be a part of that.
No. So as such, you have people come in. It was the same in a music store. You know, people just come in and like want to play, 12 guitars.
Yeah.
And try out the things.
They just want to hang out.
They're not going to buy one. They'll eventually buy one. When it comes time to buy one,
Yeah.
they'll come to you. And it's the same thing with us.
Yeah.
You know, people might come in and they look at the expensive toy and they're like, oh man, that thing's so cool. They check it out and, they're not going to buy it. But when they do someday, they're coming to you to buy it.
That's right.
Right? And that's fine. It's a long game, which you cannot do with just a website store.
I've also noticed not a big difference, but a noticeable difference in the type of things that will sell in an online store versus a brick and mortar store.
Yep.
Like I noticed it first with mugs.
Yep. We
and
did
stuff
have lots
like
of
that.
stuff.
I noticed, I don't think we sold maybe one or two on the website. And then as soon as we put the mug online, they get their hands on it, they're like, oh, that's funny.
Of course, yeah.
Or that's great.
Yeah,
and they're going to
that's
take
true.
it with them. Whereas I don't know if I've ever bought a mug online.
Well, that's the thing. The mug online or the sticker or the patch or the little kind, like the little thing.
Keychains.
Yeah, the inexpensive thing is an add-on purchase, so you get free shipping.
Yeah, if it's
right. If you've got like $150
free shipping
threshold,
and you're at $120.
yeah, you buy a mug and it becomes free shipping.
That's right.
Right. Nobody goes on and they're like, let's go to toystore.com and I'm going to go look at all these mugs, because they'll go to mugoutlet.com.
That's right.
To
To get the
find
cheapest
mugs.
one.
That's
or
right.
Amazon.
Yeah.
But we can get different stuff.
That's the other one, is like, we love local business.
Yes.
We love local small business. What we don't like, and some people, it's a spicy take.
We do have some hot takes on the topic.
Yeah, we got some hot takes. I'm not a fan of pandering to support small business.
Support my small business simply for the fact that I'm a small business.
Yeah. Like anybody who owns a business, who started a business, like it might be different with like a welding contracting company.
Yeah.
Because like all welding contracting companies are small, except for like,
True.
big giant ones who hire guys out.
Yeah.
But if you open a store in the 2020s, Walmart's already there.
You knew that.
Canadian Tire's already there.
Yeah.
The store who you're competing with directly, who has been around since the 90s, is already there. So all you can do is offer either a better product at a better price, better customer service at the same price, or something wholly different that they can't offer.
Yeah, that's right.
To bring customers to you. And that doesn't matter if you're like local small business or what your thing is. If that's what you're going to offer, that's what you're going to offer, right? So yeah, that pandering thing doesn't really work on me.
No.
I see stores with it and it's like, no, come buy our $70 t-shirt because it's here in our store. I'm like, no, I will order that thing on Amazon because I feel sick ordering a $70 t-shirt.
Speaking of the R word, now is not the time
Yes, also
for a $70 t-shirt anyways.
Right? So it's a bad time. And like throughout the pandemic, lots of stores did close.
Yeah.
Lots of businesses closed. A couple of like, my life is completely different than before the pandemic.
Yep.
Like I had left the other store in 2019. I sat on EI trying to figure out what the hell I was going to do.
Well, you had left that job with every intention of going full time into
Well, yes.
sound for live events.
Yeah, in
right
2020.
before the
And then
pandemic.
come March 2020, everything was canceled. But that was the thing, is like I had to figure out what I was going to do. So with the one company, we started doing virtual things. We started doing small scale live events as soon as you could book them. But we started doing streaming. And I started editing podcasts and things for people and doing video. Like I made a movie.
You made a movie.
I made a movie. I've never made a movie before. I was charged with, hey, we need to do this thing. We're going to record this movie and you're going to do it. And I'm like, I've never done that.
Guess I'm
gonna do
doing it.
So I did it. There were skills that I already had that I used that I didn't know I had.
Yep.
And then there's new skills that I've developed over that time to do things that I didn't know I could or wanted to do. And I think that's the resounding common thread throughout the pandemic. Anybody who is stuck on the same old thing that they were doing before, like maybe their business has failed or they kind of had a bad time. But just about everybody else I can think of who were thrown into the great unknown are thriving. Mm-hmm. Maybe not, making the most money of their career or anything, but
Gonna throw another hot take on the fire while we're here.
What do you got?
Completely off topic, but also not. During the pandemic, a nice little sampling of a UBI type of situation.
Oh, yeah, that was great.
I don't know if we could have started a business without it. I was a student, a new student. You were unexpectedly out of work.
That's right.
And we were okay. Rent was paid.
Okay.
We had groceries.
Yeah, we did not go hungry.
We didn't lose our housing situation. Yep. You know, everything was manageable, even though everything kind of sucked.
Yeah,
it was still good. And we wouldn't have been able to focus on like starting a business, starting anything, because we would have been scrambling to make ends work.
We would have never, ever even attempted it.
No, we wouldn't have had the time to even probably think about it. So, hot take, UBI, good thing.
Yeah, if you guys don't know about such a thing, universal basic income, look it up.
Yeah, enables a lot of people to try new things.
Yes.
Open a business, start a hobby. I don't know.
That's right, whatever it is, or make your hobby a business.
That's right.
So the cons of opening a store, the amount of money you have to spend to operate.
It's insane.
Yeah, it's always something. Whether it's,
And we have a pretty good, like our rent situation's pretty good.
Yeah.
We have a very small store, so the rent is very affordable.
Yeah.
It's comparable to our house. We're basically paying 2 house rents.
Mm-hmm.
Which
And the bills aren't that bad, except that they are that bad.
Everything's double now.
Yeah, everything's doubled.
We had the furnace at the store.
Oh yeah, needed a bit of work.
Which we had to pay for.
Yep. There's water bills because we are in a plaza with a
laundromat,
a
dog groomer,
and a dog groomer.
Yeah.
And they offset the costs of whatever by everybody paying a share of or splitting that number. And
then you got insurance.
Yeah, insurance.
We've got taxes.
Yep, all these things.
Yeah, it really piles up.
Yeah, and so you can do these things like you can have your money set aside for the rainy day to pay for these things. But, all it takes is one
August.
Yeah, like some failed orders, or, you take if you've taken a bunch of money for pre-orders and you've got it sitting there in the bank ready to go, and a supplier gets a bunch of stuff, or you stop dealing with a supplier, and, I'm going to say this as robbery, but, when you sign up with a supplier, you sign a paper saying that you agree to their terms and conditions. And their terms and conditions are often restocking charges on things that never existed.
Literally haven't been made yet.
Yeah, like it hasn't.
It's a pre-order for next year for a figure that's probably currently in production, if even.
You're always at risk with this thing. We had a run-in with one of these suppliers who had too much stuff coming in that we...
At times that we did not allocate for. Stuff was coming in very early. Other stuff was coming in very late.
Yeah.
We can't speak to how, I guess, that business ran before the pandemic.
Before the pandemic, we never knew.
So maybe it was more reliable, but in our experience, it absolutely was not.
Yeah, it was terrible.
Yeah, and we ended up closing our account with those guys.
Yeah, and as such had to close off a bunch of...
we ended up closing with them because of their shipping cost, not because of...
not because of like their
product.
Stock.
Yeah.
The product was great. They had everything.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we, it was, because it's one of those things in business, you kind of want to keep your shipping around 10% or lower if you can. So if you've got,
0%, please.
Yeah, 0%.
Zero would be great.
If you've got a $400 FedEx shipping, then you have to order $4,000 worth of stuff.
Yeah.
The more you can, if you can order $5,000 and have it shipped in that same amount of 400, then you're good. You're like what's that, 7%, something like that. That's reasonable. That's reasonable.
Yeah.
But I don't know who's a small business who happens to have $5,000, $6,000 American just sitting around.
Yeah.
I don't. We didn't. And
I think that's another thing that we did differently, because every step of this has been like, let's see how it goes.
Yeah, it's been really fun.
Let's start a website. We'll see how it goes. Let's go do a pop-up. We'll see how it goes.
Yeah.
Let's open the store. We'll see how it goes. But at no point during any of that did we have a bunch of savings, because this wasn't a plan. It wasn't a long-term thing that we worked towards. We didn't have our business opening saving fund. Nope. We didn't have fancy business loans from our history of owning other businesses, which many people do. We did not walk into this with $30,000 in our pockets ready to go. We just did it. We had what we had, plus personal credit cards. Yeah. Which wasn't a lot.
Yeah. And so, we've been funding it out of pocket
literally
since.
Yep.
So every time something gets screwed up or goes sideways, we're kind of like one step closer to not failure, but having to change our operations again. Because, having opened a store...
On the topic of failure.
Okay.
I don't know if this is what you're about to say, but I want to make sure it gets included, so I'm going to steal it from you.
Okay.
Right after we opened the store, I'm like a month or two into opening the physical storefront, we had a conversation about how even if it didn't work out, if we couldn't sustain it for a long period of time, we already considered it a success.
True.
We did the thing. We decided we wanted to try and do it. We found the space. We made it work. We filled it with stock. We had a great first couple months, and that was a success. That's a successful thing that we did.
True.
And
yes.
I don't think just running it eternally until it fails makes it a failure. Like 5 years down the road, if we stop being profitable, we didn't fail. We were successful for 5 years.
That's right.
Like...
Yep, I agree.
So it kind of seems like people have that mentality of if it's not running and profitable and ready to pass down to your children, they failed. Mm-hmm. But we already did it. We did the thing. We opened the store. We, sold people the stuff. We made a lot of people happy.
Yep.
We had an experience that was really cool, I think.
Yep.
And that kind of sounds like we're closing now.
No.
We had an experience that was great, so bye.
Yeah. But anyway, that's the thing. So, the way we set up this store from the start is that it's a website first. If something happens where we decide that the rent is too high, we can't afford it, because, well, let's just be honest. Let's say it's $4,000 a month. $4,000 a month would buy many more toys to sell on a website. It would buy those things plus rent on a toy show.
It would buy us a booth at a con.
Buy us booths at a con, etc. Things that we don't necessarily have to have the store all the time.
Yeah.
Right? So, if it came to it and we put it back in the basement and run our website, it's certainly not a failure. We would not feel like it's a failure.
No.
And the thing we would miss most, I think, going on this are the people who are around.
100%.
So
that's the only thing that when I think about do we try and just focus on the website? Do we move everything back home? The first thing I think about is the customers that I would miss seeing.
Yes.
And I would have to actually maintain personal relationships with some people, which currently I'm not good at. But
and I think though that's why we have the Northern BC Toy Collectors.
The group, yeah.
That's why we have our Discord. That's right. Why we do the Patreon thing.
Yeah.
Is so we can keep in touch with people all the time.
Because these relationships actually matter to us too.
Yeah. But just, in the case that we do decide to pack it in, I'm not about trying so hard to make it work.
No.
If it sucks, it sucks.
Yeah.
You just pull off the Band-Aid.
We're not going to be struggling and crying and,
No.
losing sleep or food at home.
That's right. I'm not about having a store that is not successful, it's not working, and sitting there going, oh, we just have to make it through. No, we just have to close it and put it in the basement.
No. We tried the thing.
That's right.
And if the thing isn't going to work...
For now, we could try it again later.
That's right.
But if, the current state of the world of Prince George, is not allowing us to prosper, then it's time to shift gears and change. There's that word again from the pandemic, time to pivot. Everyone's sick of hearing it. But seriously, in your life,
if you're not happy, if things aren't going
pivot. Change it. Do something different.
Change it.
That's right.
Quit your shitty job.
Or whatever it is. Just there's lots of jobs. There's lots of things to do. Find something that you really love. If you told me as a musician 20 years ago that I would be owning and running a store that sells toys. Really? Not a music store? Not lessons, not a production company, but toy store? I would never, I always liked them. I always thought it was cool, but I would never ever think that this would be the thing I'd be doing.
That's another funny thing.
It's awesome
to touch on. I remember we had a woman come into the store one time. Not a regular. I don't know if she was even from town, but she asked us how it was going. And we were like, it's great. Yeah, we love it. And she was like, well, as long as you're doing what you love, you're achieving your dreams. We're like, oh, this isn't our dream.
Yeah. My first of all, my dream's not retail.
Yeah.
Second,
is anyone's?
No, probably
right?
not. But it is awesome.
It is awesome.
And it's a great gig.
I think that's another thing we need to remind people of if the storefront fails. I'm doing air quotes here because we've already established that there's no failure here, even if we pivot. But we didn't work towards this for 10 years.
Yeah.
We weren't struggling and saving, and we didn't have this big dream of making this happen. Mm-hmm. We just decided to try and make it happen to improve the community in town.
Yeah.
And give people locally a better experience than we were experiencing.
And try and keep those other stores a bit more honest with their pricing.
Just a bit, you guys.
That hasn't worked yet. So
Nope.
definitely, guys, don't let us fail, because we have not accomplished that part of our mission. And if we don't get those other guys on board with being more honest, then we will have failed. Anyway,
That's right. The store can't fail, but that mission can fail.
That's right.
The only pros to the storefront is accessibility to local people
Yes.
and community.
Yeah.
All the cons are financial,
Yep.
mostly.
Pretty much.
And they're huge.
Well, in doing our style of business that we are, with being, like retro toys and, actual physical things from the past, like nostalgia toys, we have to buy them from people.
Yeah, that's right.
And some people who come in really have an idea about what their stuff is worth. And then I have to break their heart.
Which is kind of a more difficult topic when you're talking about like people's childhood memories.
Yeah.
Which sometimes it's their childhood memories and sometimes they just grabbed it at Value Village across the street and are trying to make 20 bucks.
Also true.
Which, just so you know, we can tell.
Yeah.
We don't mind.
Yep.
It saves us the trip. We go over there too.
That's right.
Just be honest.
Yeah, we do have, at this point, like, a year in, we do have people kind of picking for us.
Yeah, which is great.
They go over and they find,
They're like, hey, I just found this over here. If it's something that we want, we'll pay you potentially more than you paid for it.
That's right.
If it's something we want. Like, we don't care.
Yeah, we don't buy everything.
But if we find out you got it at Value Village and it's really cool, we're not going to pay you for it just because you didn't pay for it. Mm-hmm. We don't care.
Yes.
We want the thing still.
That's right. Almost all comes from thrift stores these days anyway.
True. Or yard sales.
That's right.
Another thing I wanted to touch on with this episode is that we want to open this conversation up a little bit, because as we said earlier, this is very our personal experience, which is very different, I think, from a lot of people who start their own businesses.
For sure. Well, you said from your experience, you don't know many people who own businesses.
Yeah.
I know lots of people who own businesses. I don't know many people who own retail businesses.
I think that might be more what I meant.
Okay.
I do know people that do like contracting work, or like they own their own business in a sense that they're construction or
or they do their work.
They're providing a service.
Yes.
But I don't think I know anyone else that like owns or has owned a storefront, like a retail store. So I guess that's more what I meant.
Okay.
But what we really want to do with this episode is make a part 2.
Yeah, or part 3.
Or part 3.
We could do
We could turn it into a whole series. Yeah. I'm not sure. But we really want to talk to, it doesn't even have to be local people, but we'd like to start with local people.
Yeah.
And we want to interview other business owners who either started online or started with a physical store and switched.
Yeah.
Or did a hybrid of both. If you started online, opened a store, and it was amazing, and now you're like fully in store. There's a store in the mall I want to talk to. I'm not going to name them because I haven't talked to them yet.
Yeah.
That it seems to be going really, really well for them doing that switch. But we also know business owners who started online, tried to open a store, and closed that store.
Yeah, and it just didn't happen.
And they're back to online, and online's great.
Yeah.
I can't think of any off the top of my head that started into a brick and mortar store and switched to online. But I'm sure they exist.
Yeah, I'm sure they exist.
So I think we want to do a call out. If you know anybody in this situation, if you are somebody in that situation and you're willing to talk to us, we don't have to name you or anything. If we can if you want us to shout you out.
Even if you want to just like, write your story and we tell your story.
That too.
We're into that too. But like, I think with this one, the idea is kind of like,
we just want to bring in some more experiences other than our own.
Yeah, because like, we know of a store recently that went belly up, and they had
a very strong start online.
Yeah, they're pretty much like I was helping the guy along on some things.
Yeah,
he'd ask me questions.
They opened shortly after us. Same business, same. Yeah. They're just in a different part of the country.
Yeah, and so he'd ask me questions like, what's it like having the physical store versus the online store, and like, I'd tell him, that in having the physical store, you're going to get way more traffic of people that are around. Incidental traffic. If you're in a zone where people are walking by, like in where we are, we don't really have all the signs. We don't have the best things, but people go to Value Village. They come out of the parking lot. They look and they see our sign with toys on it, and they come over. Whether they buy anything, it doesn't matter. They've been in the store. They now know it exists.
Yeah.
if they're in Value Village the next time talking and somebody's looking at toys and they're like, man, there's never any toys here. They go, have you seen the place across the street? There's a toy store there. We were talking about that. And
we're also next to a laundromat and a dog groomer.
Yeah, we get lots of people.
So we get people who are just waiting, literally just waiting for...
That's right.
Waiting to pick up their dog, just dropped off their dog, waiting for their laundry. And
it's a school.
There's also a Sylvan Learning Center next door.
It's
not always big sales, but it's eyes.
Yes, it's eyes. And then in talking about this other store, I'm not going to name them. People in the know will know who I'm talking about, and for everybody else, it's a cautionary tale. The guy started this business, so he started online.
Shortly after us.
A few months after.
Yeah.
He did everything right. He put out a survey to all these other guys who run stores and individuals to fill out.
What do you want to see?
What do you want to see? What do you want to do? What would be an appealing thing for you in this store? And as such...
His online presence was great. Their branding was great.
Everything.
It was all very... The customer service was great. Like, talking to them was great.
That's right. And then they had exact same problems that we did, but on a much bigger scale because they bit off so much more off the start.
Yeah.
Because being from Ontario, where all the people are, the shipping's cheap, the shipping's fast, and you can do your thing there no matter what. You're good. You've got thousands and thousands of people to deal with. And the failure of the whole thing, which, it's in the last month, was huge. Like, we're talking, people online who didn't get their stuff and they're very concerned. They're out, hundreds of dollars or thousands of dollars in some cases because they took on so many orders. And right now, you cannot trust that you're going to get everything.
No, supply right now from suppliers is iffy at best.
Yeah. It's better than it has been for the last 2 years, but you're getting stuff early. You're getting stuff, like if you've got $90,000 worth of orders, which is
over the next 7 months.
All of a sudden, they're taking $20,000 out that you just don't have right now.
Yeah.
You've put those out.
You budgeted it to be allocated over the next year.
Yeah.
In some cases, or a few months.
You've got this 12 cases of Hulks.
Yeah.
That you've just paid for. But hey, here comes the 12 cases of Optimus Primes.
Yeah.
And you don't have the money for them because you just bought the Hulks. Yeah. You have to wait for the Hulks to sell before you can buy the Optimus Primes.
That's right.
Because that's the problem with doing too much pre-order business is what's the saying you're using, John to pay Paul? Or Peter to pay Paul? Is
Robbing Peter to pay Paul?
Yeah. Yeah. Right? And it's not a great way to do business,
especially
but it's
when
how it is.
Paul takes way too long to send you your stuff.
Yeah.
And then you're out Peter's money.
That's right.
You've given it to Paul, but you haven't got the stuff to sell back to Peter.
That's right.
Or whatever.
Yeah.
Or however that analogy works.
Yeah. It's an interesting business. I'm glad we're in it. It is fun.
Most of the time.
Everything's good. We love having the store. All of it's very good.
Yes.
But if for some reason you find that we have...
disappeared?
Not disappeared.
From our storefront?
Vacated that premises of the storefront and are online and in the groups and doing a toy show and...
don't be sad.
Doing the cons. Yeah, don't be sad. And if you've listened to this podcast, you know why.
Yeah.
And I think I'm going to leave it at that.
Me too.
Cool. So, as Berlin had said, if you've got any ideas for, another future show in this vein, get in touch.
Yeah.
We would love to hear your stories and...
it does not have to be toy related.
Yeah, it doesn't. It's kind of an
offshoot.
Yeah, an expose series on business and how, these things run.
Yeah. Preferably local to the Prince George area. Try and keep it more toy related the further from local you are.
Yes. Yeah.
If you're calling from Ontario with your experience, maybe be something more similar to what we are.
Not a $70 t-shirt store.
That's right. But if you opened a $70 t-shirt store in Prince George or nearby, we might want to talk to you.
That's right.
Yeah, because the local community matters, I think, more than the toys do.
In the context of this.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I think that's it for this show.
Episode 1.
Episode 1 complete. All right. Stick around for episode 2. What's episode 2? What are we doing?
Episode 2, we are talking about the movie Airheads from 1994.
1994.
Which we watched last night, and I have 6 pages of notes on.
Well, we'll see you then.
Thanks for hanging out with us today. Thank you for listening to the Collectoverse podcast. We'll be back next week with a new episode. If you want to see what we're up to in the meantime, you can find all our socials on our website, collectoverse.ca. That is overse.ca.
If you like what we do and want to hear more, please subscribe to our Patreon. Our patrons get early access to new episodes and bonus content. You can find that link on our website. That is once again collectoverse.ca, not .com.